name is Steve Butner. I'm the Director of Media and Technology. Welcome to another series of YouTube presentation families with the Edina Public Schools 2020-2021 instructional year. Boy, it's been a roller coaster. As we switch into distance learning, DMTS thought it would be a great time to provide additional resources to our parents to assist them to ensure their child is successful. Here are a series of slides brought to you by my friends Mike Walker and Sean Beaverson to assist you. Mike, next slide.
So when we're talking about distance learning, one of the key terms that we need to address is that we're doing something, students and teachers learning and working together at the same time. And we'll talk about the tools that we use to do that a little bit later. And along with me, I'm a secondary digital learning specialist, and along with me is Sean Beaverson, who is our elementary digital learning specialist, and he'll talk about the next method of delivery.
Thanks, Mike. Asynchronous lessons are the lessons and learning that happens while not directly with the teacher. And so these are the activities that happen in between the Google Meet sessions and the various direct connections to your teacher, in which kids may be working on different projects, different skills, or different enrichment based on what the teacher has assigned during a synchronous session.
And all of these lessons are developed by our teaching staff and are high quality activities to help students gain the knowledge and skills necessarily to be successful in their subject areas. So then when we talk the full depth combination of the synchronous sessions that teachers are leading, along with that asynchronous work done, and it's all done separately from the school building. When we talk about our tools that we have for doing that for our students in grades K through 2, they'll be using the Seesaw app, and Sean will talk about that in a little bit. And then for our students in grades 3 through 12, we're using Schoology as our learning management system that contains all the communication and assignments and activities that kids will be doing within that system. And then the students will be following the teacher's instructions throughout the day. And Sean's going to get into kind of what that schedule looks like.
So this is an example of a schedule for our 3rd through 5th grade. This one's actually taken from 4th grade. And so you can see included on the schedule, the teacher has broken down the different topics and the different content areas for which the students will be meeting and when they will meet, using the Google Meet icon to demonstrate when they should be together for face-to-face time, and then the Schoology icon for when they may be working asynchronously. And so when looking at this, you can see the day is paced out with some direct connection to the teachers, and then included time for the students to work independently when they'll be away from the screen, perhaps, and working at home based on what the teacher has shared. The next version is a daily checklist that our K2 teachers are starting to use in Seesaw. And so you'll see something like this in Seesaw if you have a kindergarten, 1st, or 2nd grade teacher. The daily checklists also include the link to the Google Meet session, so students know when to connect to Google Meet, the nickname for the Google Meet session, and then the various times that different activities are happening during the day. You can also see that they have called out the Seesaw activities, and those are the asynchronous. And so on the left-hand side, you have the synchronous sessions when they'll meet with their teacher or a small group. And then on the right-hand side, they have the asynchronous lessons in this particular example.
At the middle school level, they're going to continue to follow the A and B day format of their classes. And so Mondays will be A days, Tuesdays B days, Wednesdays will be an asynchronous day where students will be working independently on catch-up activities and things that teachers are posting. Teachers will be doing some reaching out to students for additional help and support, as well as preparing lessons for the following days. And then Thursday and Friday will again be A day and B day as we go through. The other thing about middle school is that they will be the bells and class, a synchronous session at the start of every class. It may last anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes or a little bit longer to kind of make sure everyone's on board with what's happening during that day. As we look at the high school, they too will be following the bell schedule throughout the week, and they will have synchronous sessions. Google Meets will take place at least 2 times a week per class, as well as each Wednesday will be a flex day where teachers will be inviting students to come and get some additional support or enrichment in their subject areas. And you can see that each subject is assigned a specific time period in what would have been the normal school day for those activities to take place. There will also be asynchronous assignments that students will be completing on those days. For the high school, for their attendance, they will continue to use attendance-based assignments on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So those will be available by at least 8 a.m. and due by 3:30 p.m. Sean, you want to talk about Seesaw?
Yeah, so as has been mentioned, we have 2 different platforms for supporting learning, and they become even more important when we're doing distance learning. For our kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, and for students in our early learning center, they have access to the Seesaw app. Seesaw has been pre-installed on all of the district-provided iPads, and there are 2 different apps. The class app is included on the district-provided iPads, and this is where the students interact with the teacher directly. We use the home learning codes in the class app, so it creates a private and secure connection between the student and the teacher. The other app that families can download on a personal device is the Family app. This app allows for communications from the teacher to the parents or caregivers of the student. The Family app cannot be installed on the district-provided iPad and can only be installed on a personal device. You can always access Seesaw through the web as well. So if you get a code to join the Family app and don't have a smart device, you can use the web to connect to the Family app on Seesaw as well. Sometimes you'll run into some trouble with Seesaw. Sometimes Seesaw may pause as things are trying to be uploaded. The best fix for those are a hard reset of the iPad, which is holding down the home button until the slider toggles on, and then turning off the device and turning it back on again. We do occasionally update the app based on Seesaw releases, and when we have an update, we'll either run those automatically, or if it looks like it's going to be a major update, we will make sure and communicate to families and teachers that that update is happening. Some things you might experience in the Seesaw app, I'll cover on the next here. So you should have gotten a home learning code, as I mentioned, from your teacher, and our records indicate that most of our students have successfully connected to Seesaw. If you need a home learning code, if you somehow get disconnected, you can contact your child's homeroom teacher or your site's media specialist, and they will help generate a new one of these Seesaw home learning codes for you. After you're getting connected, I'll show you a little bit about what it looks like in Seesaw. So in the class app in Seesaw, there are activities, and this is where most of the, again, asynchronous or independent practice work happens. And when you're in Seesaw or looking over your student's shoulder as they look in Seesaw, you're going to see in the middle an activities pane. The red number next to the activities are the number of activities that have yet to be cleared by the teacher. They may mean that they have been completed, but they're not yet looked at by the teacher, or it could be ones that are in progress. All activities in Seesaw allow you to save a draft. So if the screen time is getting long and you feel like it's time to take a break, it's okay to hit the save the draft version of it, take a break, and come back to that activity later. And that activity then will be in progress. And then once you had a little break and had some time to enjoy time away from the screen, you can return back to Seesaw and complete the assignment and click the submit, and then it will be under done. We'll go to the next slide. In some of your classes, they use folders to help differentiate between different services or different specialists. And so in the Seesaw app, on the right-hand side, you'll see a folder icon. And in that folder, underneath that folder, you will see some organization built into Seesaw by your homeroom teacher and by the other teachers that serve your students. And then finally, on the Seesaw app, another great way just to keep track of the activities and what's going on in Seesaw is you can toggle to the calendar view. The calendar is nice because you can see exactly what's been assigned on the various days. And so this is a great way to get a look back on the different things that have been completed during a week or over a couple of days. You can see here's a nice month view. And you can tell when activities were posted by the teacher to be completed by the students. And so the calendar is a really great way to just get an overview of what's been going on in the class and to be able to click through and see the different activities.
So now we'll talk about Schoology, which is our learning management system for grades 3 through 12. And Schoology allows teachers to post assignments, activities, give assessments, and for students to interact with the content and engage in that content, and then express their learning in a variety of ways. They can post video, they can complete assessments that may be multiple choice, traditional type, etc. For grades 3 through 5, Sean, do you want to share a little bit about what parents will see?
Yeah, absolutely. So based on development, you'll see a simpler interface with Schoology at the younger grades, 3 through 5, than you might see with a middle school student or a high school student. So typically when you come into a elementary level Schoology course, what you will see is the teacher's folder, the homeroom course folder, and then underneath that a specialists folder. Inside of those folders, teachers will be posting the various activities for students, and the activities that are included with a due date get published or displayed on the right-hand side with the upcoming. So a great way to be able to, again, track what's coming up so that you can do some planning for maintaining a healthy balance of school and outside of school work.
And that upcoming feature is one that applies not only to grades 3 through 5, but also at the secondary level as well. Our teachers are posting the due dates of assignments and if calendar events to help with that. And so at secondary, you can see some examples here of where a teacher has posted some different activities for different classes. If you ever see something in the outstanding category, that means the assignment wasn't turned in on time, and so that is a way for you to be able to check on your students. If they have anything in outstanding, that means it wasn't turned in at the proper time.
Mike, I just want to differentiate really quickly for our elementary families that while at the secondary, we use the gradebook to actively display grade reporting and progress. At the elementary level, our gradebook is actually a little bit different. And so in Schoology, while you will see grades and the grades posted, there really is a matter of record keeping and doesn't necessarily, it could, but doesn't necessarily correlate directly to what your child student's grade may be in the course. So I just wanted to point out that differentiator between the gradebook in elementary versus what happens at the secondary level. Thanks, Mike.
That's a great point, Sean, because at secondary, the Schoology gradebook is the official gradebook. We do sync our overall grade from Schoology into Infinite Campus night, but the most up-to-date overall grade in our gradebooks at secondary is in Schoology. So when teachers post overviews in Schoology, they may have some links to activities that they want students to complete. Maybe it's a link to the Google Meet that they're going to have that day. And these links will take the students to the necessary resources and assignments that are happening on a given day. Some of the differences that you might see at the secondary level, our high school teachers in general are going to post a weekly overview at the top of their courses that'll show kind of what's happening that week. So maybe if there's an assessment coming up on a Thursday or Friday, the student will see that at least by Monday morning. And then our middle school teachers, many of them are utilizing something called a unit guide, and those unit guides are documents that allow the student to kind of follow along, complete activities, see what those activities and links are, but also one of the great pieces of that unit guide is that students can actually reflect on their learning right on that document, and then the teachers can give feedback on that. And that feedback aspect, the being able to consult and provide feedback and reflection is a key component of our Edina learning framework, and so it's something that you might see at the secondary level a little bit more than other levels. Now, what that means is that for some of the content in Schoology, because it may be a Google Doc that is shared between the teacher and the student, or maybe it is curriculum that we've purchased with a license that is limited only to the students and teachers, you may see signs when you're going through Schoology that look like this, where it says private access only. And that's because with your parent account, you don't necessarily have the rights to view some of that material. We've tried to open it up as much as possible for parents, but that's kind of, we do have some limitations on that. So in that event, what we really recommend is that you sit down shoulder to shoulder with your child. If you ever have a question about what something is or the progress that they're making on a document, that's going to be the best way for you to see the full piece of what's going on for a given class. By sitting down with your child, then they can show you what they're working on and the work that they are doing. Or if it's a curricular thing like some of our electronic textbooks for math, they can show you what the lessons and things are there, because you do not have a login for some of those resources. You do have the ability in Schoology to sign up for notifications for different things, and we really encourage you to do that. On our district dashboard under technology, we have some links to resources on how to sign up not only for notifications, but also digests that show progress for your child for either daily or on a weekly basis. And that's a way for you to kind of keep track of things, but realize that we also want our students to gain ownership of their learning and being active participants in their learning and making sure that they're keeping track of that as well. So those digests, if you click on the arrow and go to notifications, you can sign up for those daily or weekly digest here in Schoology. And again, on our district tech dashboard, we have instructions for how to do that. Next thing is Google Meet. And I know, Steve, you want to take this one? Oops, you're muted.
I'm glad I'm able to show an example of what is a common issue when we're doing our synchronous learning. The synchronous learning tool we're using in Edina Public Schools is Google Meet. And Google Meet allows for your teacher to set up videos that will bring your students in. Generally, those sessions are either linked within your Schoology course or Seesaw information and to log in. Next slide.
Sean, you want to take that one? Oops.
Sean, you're muted.
I like to follow in my boss's footsteps. So one of the other things a peculiarity that we'll note is that in Seesaw, it is a little bit different. The students, the teachers, are posting the nickname to the Google Meet session. And the nickname will allow you to go to meet.google.com or the Google Meet app and type in the nickname of that session. So for example, my last name is Beaverson, and if I taught first grade, my nickname might be Beaverson1 so that the students could join my Google Meet. The nicknames create a secure connection between the teacher and the students and does not allow for people outside of our organization to join the Google Meet sessions. The nicknames also restrict student access without a staff member there to start a Google Meet. So the nicknames are an important way for us to add security to the synchronous experience for students and for teachers. In addition to the nicknames, teachers can use the nickname to create a hyperlink to the Google Meet session as well. And so in some cases, what you will see is a blue underline or the little chain link next to the teacher's nickname, which demonstrates that it is an actual active link that you can click on to follow through either to meet.google.com or the Google Meet app on the iPad. It's important that when you're using the iPad that the student is logged in, and I'll say that again, that the student is the one that's logged into the Google Meet app. Due to the nickname restrictions, not allowing people from outside the organization to join, it's important that the student is the one that is logged in. Included with today's information, we have the iPad Tech Kit, which is on the is an app on the iPads where you can find this very same page and watch the video that walks through the steps of joining a Google Meet and making sure that it's just your student that is logged into the iPad.
Just like in previous years, we want to see your children every day in school because that's when we know they're learning. However, this year, in the year of the 2020-2021, and in particular when we're in either hybrid or distance learning, we're going to have to ensure that your child's participating a little bit differently. To that end, we're providing some attendance procedures here of how the different grade levels will be conducting attendance. In the elementary level, they'll be taking daily attendance like they did in the past and using one of their virtual sessions or a homework or a check-in to ensure your child's participating. At the middle school, they'll be taking attendance at the advisory meeting in the morning or attending the synchronous sessions each period. And at the high school, Mike can explain what they're doing for attendance.
Yeah, just to note that the main attendance for middle school will be taken during that advisory period at 9:20, and that's a Google Meet synchronous session that students need to attend every day. But they also will be doing synchronous sessions during every class period at the middle schools, and students should be attending those. At the high school level, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, students will be completing an attendance-based assignment by 3:30 p.m. each day, and then obviously attending those synchronous sessions as assigned. But then on Wednesdays, the key will be that they attend any session that they've been invited to for Flex to gain additional support or enrichment.
We know situations are going to crop up where your child may have participated and may have got missed. You may be getting an attendance call. In those situations, you can always contact your child's building attendance clerk to address any attendance issues that you might have. Next slide, Mike. We also know that there's going to be technical issues and you're going to have ongoing questions, and we're going to have more information that's always coming to light or will be available. To that end, the district has created a dashboard for supporting our families. The dashboard is broken down into icons that you can use, such as early learning center, elementary, middle school, and high school. In addition, you will find a technology icon, which will provide technology resources and technology support options for you.
There also will be videos from each of our different levels explaining specific procedures for those levels that you can watch and gain more information from. As far as tech support goes, Steve?
Sure. So again, tech support, we're always available to help out. We do have a help desk, which can be accessed either through a telephone or through an email. The email is support@edinaschools.org, and the telephone number is listed. However, if you want instant support, we do have provided a number of great resources for parents and students. On our iPads, we've created an app called the EPS iPad Guide for K through 2. That's right on the home screen, and it's a great resource for parents. We encourage you to take a look at that and read through that. As used with technology, we are constantly updating that app. We also have provided a Chromebook troubleshooting guide, and we will replace Chromebooks if they're defective by a swap out at our Edina Education Center. And then also, we understand that in some situations, English might not be your first language, and so we've provided resources on how you can translate or access YouTube videos in different languages.
We realize these are amazingly difficult historic times, and so we really want to partner with you to support you in the process of distance learning and helping your child be as successful as possible.
To assist us to understand better your specific issues or concerns, we have provided a Google form that we encourage you to fill out. The link is here. Will also be on our page on the website, and provides an opportunity to give us specific questions that you may have around distance learning, technology, or just any other wonderments or questions you might have. We encourage you to fill that out, and occasionally we'll be providing live Q&A sessions to help answer those questions. But in the meantime, we wish you and your child success as we transition to distance learning. Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.